Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Scratching Post presented by SaskTel. I'm your host, Arthur Ward, and this is the podcast where we talk about everything athletics here at the U of R. And today, we've got an exciting guest, a guest who played in all 28 games for her Canada West hockey team. She is also the fifth player in program history to be named Canada West Rookie of the Year, joining JC Magwood in 2016, Carissa Swan in 2006, Erin Tatey in 2001, and also joining her coach, Brandy West McMaster, who was also named the Canada West Rookie of the Year back in 1999. I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Jules Stokes, Canada West Rookie of the Year. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I'm excited. How does it feel to be named Rookie of the Year?
Super exciting, but also shocking. It's kind of surreal. You don't really expect it to ever be you, but then when it is, it's just kind of hard to contain.
Was there ever an inkling that I could be up for an award or I could be Rookie of the Year?
I want to say just over halfway through the season, I kind of started looking at stats and I realized how high up I was with the rookies. And I was like, maybe there's a chance. I'm one of the only defensemen up there, and I was kind of thinking, but wasn't really thinking too much into it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a defenseman, first year in the league. You've racked up quite a number of assists. And that usually, I don't know much about hockey. I enjoy the sport, but, for the defenseman to have a high number of assists, that really indicates that you're really good at playing your position. Am I wrong?
I like to think so. Yeah, I'm a good playmaker. I'm able to set it up at the other end, and some leads to the next end, creating a goal. But yeah, I think so. Not as many goals as I would have hoped for. Hoping that that's a bit of a change next year. But yeah.
So tell me, Jules. I should say. The reason why I get excited when anyone says your name, Jules, because I found out that you're from Terrace, BC, and I get really excited about that because usually when I find out about a new town or a new city, in Saskatchewan or Canada, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, and then when I get the opportunity to visit a new town or a new city, I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then when I come across someone who is from, said town or a place that I've just visited, I get even more excited. And I had the opportunity to go to Terrace, BC late last year with the women's basketball team. And got to see, the place that you're from. And it is a very small town.
Very small.
Way north, almost in the middle of nowhere.
Feels like it.
Yeah. Tell us, how does one get from Terrace, BC and find their way all the way here in Regina? What was that journey like?
Yeah, bit of a long, kind of all over the place journey. But I started in Terrace, and I played all boys hockey up until grade 7, and then I went and joined the CSSHL, Canadian Sports School Hockey League, in my grade 8 year. And I played in Penticton, BC for about 2 years, and then I moved to Winnipeg, Manitoba to go play for the rink there, still in that same league. And I was there from grade 10 to 12, where I was the captain for my last year there. And then we had a showcase there, and Regina was one of the schools. And so I kind of was interested in Regina because I really wanted to stay in Canada. I kind of like the area. Winnipeg, not so much. Regina is still my favorite.
Okay. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. The Regina being the favorite part.
Yeah. I reached out, and it just so happened to work out that I could be fortunate enough to come here.
So why, what made you want to stay in Canada?
I would say family. I'm very close with my family. I have a large family in Terrace and around that area. And I've just always been very like pretty close knit.
Okay.
And so just going to the States, I think, just would have made it a lot harder to try and get those small visits in where I could just go home for a weekend or something.
Let's go back to Terrace. Describe Terrace for our audience, and maybe sort of paint a picture of what it's like to grow up in Terrace, and also to grow up in Terrace and playing hockey at the same time.
Yeah, I grew up 20 minutes outside of Terrace in the sticks. We didn't have Wi-Fi until I was about 12 years old.
The sticks?
Yeah, just trees.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. The woods, the sticks.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
So there was a lot of outside time, that's for sure. And then sports was also a big thing, keeping busy. There's about 12,000 people there, I think, and that's including like surrounding small areas. The closest Costco is about 7 hours. So never been to Costco until I think I was in grade 9, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's if you like to hunt and fish, that's definitely the place to go.
Hunting and fishing, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Good. So, like, do you hunt?
I do, yes.
All right. And like, and do you fish?
I do.
All right. So what's your biggest catch in either hunting or fishing?
I went fishing last summer and I caught a spring salmon.
Okay.
Yeah. And like they can also be in rivers, but they go out to the ocean. So I don't exactly remember how big it was, but pretty big. Like biggest fish I've caught so far. Definitely weighed a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to reel it in?
Ooh. I want to say less than 10 minutes.
Oh,
Less
wow.
than 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like for them, like they don't go as deep as halibut do, like halibut or bottom feeders. So that would be something that would take me a little bit to try and reel that up. But with a spring, they're not as deep.
Oh, so depending on the type of fish, like so halibut will go down and you got to really fight it a lot more. The spring salmon will just stay near the surface.
Like I want to say not quite the surface, but not quite the bottom.
It's still work to get it in.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. What's your favorite way of eating salmon? Like, how do you like to cook salmon?
I cook it in the oven, but I put Montreal steak seasoning on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good that way.
Nice. I love smoked salmon.
Oh, yes.
A good piece of smoked salmon is...
With some rice, delicious.
Oh, yeah. We got smoked salmon when we were out in Terrace because we went to... we spent a lot of time up in the Nisga'a Nation, and, they fish a lot of salmon up there and had a healthy dose of smoked salmon as well. So, Terrace, beautiful place. It's just out in the woods, in the sticks, like you said. So I can imagine if you like the outdoors, that's sort of a place to be. But it's far, right? I mean, Costco runs have a whole other meaning over there.
It's almost like a weekend trip to go to Costco.
That is absolutely just insane to think of. But so you're in Regina. You how do you find Regina compared to Terrace?
Bigger. I would say much bigger. More things to do here, that's for sure, and different fast food places I can go eat.
Okay.
My roommates and I like to experiment quite a bit.
Okay.
But a bit more traffic than I would like, but way less than Winnipeg, which is also great. I think it's the perfect size, though. I really like it.
Yeah.
There's just enough people where it's not overwhelming.
Awesome. You know what? You were the first person in a very long time who I've heard describe Regina as, there's enough things to do and it's the perfect size. Like, and, puts it into perspective from, the small town of Terrace to the small town that is a city, that is the capital of the province, which is Regina. But I guess that's a good way to maybe let other potential rookies know who are from small towns. If you like a small town vibe and a small town feel, maybe look up reginacougars.com and look at the women's hockey program. And if you like to also hunt and fish, then you could be teammates with Jules. How does that sound?
Perfect. Yep. Ideal.
Awesome. Jules, you're named Rookie of the Year, and that must come with a lot of highlights on the highlight tape. But what was your highlight of the season?
Oh, my highlight. Um, I want to say it was like one of my most recent. I think it was like my last goal of the season. I ended up blocking a shot in our end, and I was able to skate from one end to the other end, and I went bar down. Felt good. It didn't really help our team too much. We were already down by a couple, but still felt cool.
Hey, well, it, scoring a goal will always feel
Yeah,
great.
feel bubbly inside.
Yeah, yeah. What was it like with integrating yourself into the team? How was that integration for you?
I would say it was always like for me being a little bit like it was always a little bit trickier joining a new team because I can sometimes be a bit reserved, but this team made it really easy.
Okay.
Everyone was super welcoming and happy and positive, and it just like kind of made me want to open up more, talk more, just want to get to know everyone, and then also going to Finland helped too. Getting like super close with everyone. You're sitting on an 8-hour plane ride with two random girls. You gotta talk to somebody.
Well, hopefully, you got to
Yeah.
talk with them. Yeah. So, the Finland trip was sort of a big icebreaker for you and the team.
Oh yeah.
What moments from that trip really stood out for you?
I want to say the first time we went swimming at I think our first location that we were at, they had a giant diving board, and the rookies had to do a synchronized dive into the lake while everyone watched. So that was pretty fun.
Did you get tens on your synchronized dive?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hunter, fisher, synchronized diver. What else don't we know about you?
I used to ride horses. So I used to have horses, but I had to choose between my horse and hockey because I was gone so often. And I chose hockey.
Okay. Why did you choose hockey over horse riding?
I was already gone, so I would have just had to pack up my life and move back home. But even then, like I wasn't a competitive horse rider. I did a few gymkhanas, which is like small rodeos, just for competing.
Okay.
But it wasn't anything compared to hockey seriousness.
You spend a year with the team. You had that icebreaker in Finland, and now you are here. Who, if you want to say, is your favorite teammate?
Meg Farmer.
Meg Farmer. Tell us why.
I personally love Meg Farmer with all my heart. She's my defense partner from the very beginning in Finland. We both came in as rookies. We actually both lived in Winnipeg at the same time and never met each other once.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. But, once I got to know her, we just have very similar humors, I think, and find each other hilarious. And we're also roommates.
Okay.
So that's great. We share a wall.
That helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so Meg Farmer is also a rookie on the team. Well, let's talk about some of the vets, 4th or 5th year players on the team. Do you want to pick your favorite vet, or do you can answer that or not answer that? Because I'm sure the vets will be watching.
Well, I think Rhea Gilroy has to be my favorite.
Rhea Gilroy,
Yes.
and why?
Granny Ray Ray.
You call her Granny?
Yeah. She's in her 6th year. Yep.
Okay. What about Rhea do you appreciate?
Her constant happiness, like constantly happy, constantly smiling. She would never walk by anyone and just like not say hello.
Okay.
She's just so bubbly and energetic, especially for our 6 a.m. skates. She always put on her rave music, and that really got everyone going for morning practice.
Rave music. Wow. Well, that's a lot to wake up to.
Yeah. It was.
So describe yourself then as you talked earlier that you said you're a little bit reserved. So how would you describe your personality?
I would say probably more dark humor.
Okay. Okay.
And for me, like learning who also has it, like takes me a little bit to warm up to, because I would never like want to offend anyone or like say anything where people are like, oh, why would she say that?
Yeah.
But I think it kind of takes me a little bit to like warm up to people and like kind of show like that I can sometimes be funny.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Interesting to know. The team, I'm sure the team is diverse and full of different personalities and different characters. Who would you say would be the funniest person on the team?
Funniest person, I think Nat Williamson. I think when you can get her to open up, she's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, she has a personality to her.
Okay, all right. Maybe we got to get her on the podcast and get her to open up. We'll take a quick break. To everyone listening, we will be back shortly after this message from our sponsor. SaskTel TV is your home for heart-pounding sports action in HD. Upgrade to ultra clear 4K with TSN and Sportsnet, and you'll be front and center for every game. And with the Max TV app included, you're free to support your team on your phone or tablet anywhere. SaskTel TV, the top pick for sports fans at home and on the go. All right, we are back here with the Canada West Rookie of the Year, Jules Stokes. Jules, again, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to come talk with us on the podcast.
Of course.
So, Jules, let's talk about your playing style. You're defender with the team. How would you describe your playing style as it pertains to hockey?
I would say that I'm a stay-at-home D. I like to be played on the safe side a little bit, but at times I can take the opportunity to rush. Still trying to learn when those times are best to take action. Mm-hmm. And then I also would say that one of my best qualities is my speed.
Your speed.
That helps me out a lot.
Are you the fastest on the team?
I would say maybe second.
Maybe second?
First.
Who's?
Paige and I are pretty close.
Hubbard?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll say you're the fastest on the team. Because by your definition, wouldn't you describe Paige as a grandma as well?
No.
No?
No.
Paige has been on the team for
6 years.
Yeah. But so how is Rhea a granny and Paige is not? I don't understand.
Granny is almost kind of frail. She reminds me. She talks the way a granny would. She talks about her sore bones and stuff.
Rhea does.
Yeah.
And Paige, what does Paige talk about?
She's just also actually very energetic and bubbly. They're both great, but I don't know. She just doesn't give me granny vibes.
Paige does not give granny vibes. Okay, got it. Well, Paige is a speedster. I think we got to get both of you just going, board to board and see who can get there first. But Paige is a captain of the team this year around. Came back to do her 5th year, full of energy. I know Paige personally. You had a successful season this year. Got the honor of Canada West Rookie of the Year, which congratulations. That is amazing. As you look ahead to next season, what's the one thing you want to improve upon before the puck drops for the 2025-26 season?
I want to improve scoring from the blue line. That's something I really want to work on. I know our team struggled a little bit with scoring to begin with, and so I did have quite a few assists, but I would like it to be a bit more balanced with a few more goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you got to do to score from the blue line? Like, is that hand-eye coordination? Like, I'm not a hockey person over here, so just lay it on me.
I think just learning to keep my head up as I'm walking that blue line. I've definitely hit a few shin pads this year, and that's something that prevents us from scoring those goals. So just being able to get it through all that traffic. Yeah. And I think one thing would definitely be just learning to use my peripheral vision.
Okay, good. Now tell me about all the overtime games you had this season. Is that something you're hoping to work on as well going into next season? Maybe avoiding overtime? Because what I do know about how this hockey league works is once you go into overtime, you give a point to the other team.
Yes. Yeah, that team automatically gets 1 point as soon as that third period's over and it's tied.
Yes, and that has major implications on the division standings. So even though we won a lot of those overtime games, we still gave up points.
Yes.
So what's the team got to do to try to wrap a game up in 3 periods?
I think probably playing all 3 of those periods. We had some times where we come out flying in our first, but then let off the gas in our second and try and make up for it in the third. So I think, just trying to focus on working hard all 3 periods and just staying in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you've played at the lower levels back in Terrace. You played in boys league. You played in rink in Winnipeg. Is playing at the Canada West level, at the university sport level, is there anything that surprised you after your first year?
Not too much that was surprising. Definitely a lot faster than any league that I've played in. The physicality is about the same, though some girls are a lot bigger than I've ever seen in my entire life, though. That was definitely a bit of a wake-up call, was the size mass from like an 18-year-old to a 22-year-old. But yeah, no, that like pretty much, the speed and body size.
The size is something that you kind of need to get used to. And especially, I mean, as a defender, they're coming right at you, right? So I'm sure you've had a couple times this season where you kind of had to manage, working with the bigger bodies.
Yeah.
What about the trips? As I'm sure you travel lots, but with this team, were there any trips that really stood out for you in your first year?
I loved the BC trip.
Okay,
it was like going on a little vacation. We got to tour around the city at night.
Okay.
And playing in the arena was also super cool.
Which arena was that?
Oof.
You guys were playing
UBC.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And so it was a pretty big stadium in there. I don't know if I've ever played in an arena that big before. But no, like I'd say that definitely stood out to me, and especially like that's our only plane trip too. It was nice not having a sore back.
Was sitting in the bus all day. Oh, yeah. Okay. That is good. Well, you're used to bus drives.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. Well, Jules, thank you so much for taking the time, for being here. For a reserved person, like you said, I feel you were, you have a great personality.
Thank
you. I wish that you continue to do well beyond your rookie season. And thanks for deciding to come to Regina.
Thank you for taking me.
It's great to have you here. The team's excited to have you here, and you will forever be known in the history books. After earning that award this year. You're up there with Brandy, and a handful of players to have earned Rookie of the Year. So that is very exciting. So again, congratulations on that. And
thank
you. Is there anything else you'd like to say to your team, your family, your friends, to Meg?
Oh.
The mic is yours. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to close out this episode with some final words.
Well, I sure hope we get to meet up with Mount Royal again and show them what's up. Yeah.
Mount Royal, she's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, thank you again for listening or watching another episode here on The Scratching Post, presented by SaskTel. I'm your host, Arthur Ward, and I really appreciate your support, and thanks again for listening. If you like what you saw or like what you heard, you can get more content just like this on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or if you like to watch what you listen to, you can check us out on YouTube at Regina Cougars on YouTube. If you're watching this clip on Instagram, just click the link in our bio and you can follow, like, and subscribe to our podcast right there. So until next time, be kind. I'm Arthur Ward. This is a Scratching Post presented by SaskTel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.